Have you ever been with someone who says they love you, but their actions leave you second-guessing everything? One moment, they're warm, present, maybe even deeply vulnerable with you. The next, they're distant, dismissive, or suddenly too busy to connect. It's confusing, it's painful. And if you're anything like the people I work with, you've probably asked yourself, are they losing interest? Did I come on too strong? Why do I feel like I'm always the one holding the relationship together? I'm Jim Rohn, and if any of that resonates, this video is for you. Today I'm going to break down 5 things an avoidantly attached person will do when they are actually in love. And I say in love very intentionally. Because here's the paradox. Avoidant people often show love in ways that don't look like love at all. In fact, the deeper their feelings go, the more likely they are to protect themselves by pulling away, shutting down, or creating emotional distance. And unless you understand that pattern, you're going to take it personally. You'll internalize their deactivation as a sign that you're too much, you're not enough, or worse, that you're the problem. You're not. What looks like rejection might actually be emotional overwhelm. What looks like indifference could be fear masked as self-protection. And when you know how to spot the difference, you stop spiraling and start showing up with emotional clarity, boundaries, and grounded self-worth. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 behaviors avoidants typically show only when they're emotionally invested, some of which may completely challenge what you thought love was supposed to look like. And trust me, you'll want to stay for number 3. It's one of the most misunderstood signs of avoidant love. If you're ready to stop chasing breadcrumbs, stop walking on eggshells, and start showing up with secure, calm confidence in your love life, go ahead and subscribe now. This channel is your space for untangling anxious, avoidant dynamics and reclaiming the kind of love you don't have to beg for. 1. There's something they do when they're falling in love, but most people miss it entirely. It's subtle. It's not loud. It doesn't come in the form of flowers or grand romantic gestures. In fact, it often shows up in quiet, unassuming moments. See, people with avoidant attachment don't open their hearts easily. Their entire nervous system is wired to protect, to retreat, to guard their emotional space like a fortress. So when they begin to pull back the curtain just a little, when they let you into that locked-away emotional territory, it's not just small talk, it's sacred ground. And the first sign you might catch is this. They start to tell you things they don't tell anyone else. Maybe it happens unexpectedly. You're just sitting together and they bring up something from their past. A strange relationship with a parent, a moment when they felt abandoned, a painful childhood memory they usually avoid. You didn't push them, you didn't dig, and yet they offered it. That's not random, that's a sign. For someone with an avoidant pattern, sharing that kind of personal information is incredibly rare. You're not just hearing a story, you're witnessing trust being built in real time. This is their version of emotional intimacy, and here's what makes it even more powerful. They might act like it's no big deal. They might shrug it off, change the subject, or pretend it was just a passing comment. But don't be fooled. For them, that moment was massive. You've just touched something real, something raw, something they normally keep buried. Most people miss this sign, or worse, they misinterpret it. They think, oh, they're opening up, maybe they're ready to commit. But the truth is more layered. This isn't the finish line, it's the beginning of emotional access. It means they're testing whether it's safe to be seen, and your reaction in that moment matters more than you realize. If you lean in with calm, non-judgmental presence, if you hold what they share without rushing to fix it, you show them something their nervous system rarely gets to experience: emotional safety. And stay with me, because this is just the first of 5 signs. What I'll share next might completely rewrite how you understand avoidant love. You might think you've been chasing someone emotionally unavailable, but what if you've actually been closer to their heart than you knew? 2. Sometimes love doesn't sound like "I love you." It looks like a light bulb they replaced without asking. A flat tire they handled before you even knew it was a problem. A quiet favor done behind the scenes. No big declarations, no dramatic confessions. Just action. Quiet, deliberate, thoughtful action. And if you're dealing with someone who leans avoidant, this is their language. It might not seem romantic in the traditional sense, but for them, these small acts are enormous because they're not naturally wired to express affection in verbal or emotionally vulnerable ways. In fact, words often feel too exposing, too risky. So instead they fix. They show up for you in tangible, practical ways. And that's not nothing. It's actually one of the clearest signs that you've gotten under their skin. For avoidance, showing love through service can feel far safer than emotional closeness. It allows them to remain useful, needed, and connected without having to step into the uncomfortable territory of raw intimacy. Many of them grew up in homes where love was conditional, where emotions weren't safe, or where caretaking was the only form of connection they understood. So when they help you carry something heavy, when they offer to run an errand, or when they take care of a task you've been putting off, they're not just being nice, they're letting you in. This is how they show they care without having to face the vulnerability of being seen too deeply. And the key here is noticing the pattern without dismissing it. Don't overlook these gestures just because they aren't verbal. This is one of the most underappreciated signs that an avoidant partner is emotionally invested. They may not say, "I miss you," but they might make sure your heater works before a cold front hits. They may never text you a love poem, but they'll remember your coffee order and bring it to you without being asked. These acts are not casual, they are intentional. They're a bridge, one they're building on their terms at their pace. But here's the real twist, and it's important. These gestures often go unnoticed, especially if you're wired more toward verbal affirmation or physical closeness. So the avoidant partner may feel like they're giving, while you feel emotionally starved. And that's where misunderstanding grows. That's why learning to recognize this as a form of connection, without letting it be the only form, is so essential. And if this is starting to sound familiar, don't go anywhere. The next sign is where things get really interesting, because it reveals a behavior most people misread as rejection, when it's actually something much deeper. 3. When someone who usually values their independence above all else starts reaching out to you first, that's not random, that's not just polite. For someone with an avoidant attachment style, initiating contact is a big deal. It's not in their comfort zone. These are people who guard their time and energy like it's gold. So when they take the lead, when they text you before you text them, when they ask to see you, when they carve out time in their schedule just to be near you, you're seeing something important. That kind of effort doesn't come easily to them. It means you've become significant. They might not say, "I miss you," but if they're the one reaching out just to check in, or inviting themselves into your world, like showing up to your family BBQ, even though they'd rather be anywhere else, that's them investing. It's their version of emotional risk. And it's real. What confuses people is the inconsistency. Often, at the very beginning, an avoidant can seem surprisingly proactive. They might initiate a lot, texting, planning dates, making effort, which can feel exciting and hopeful. And then suddenly, they pull back. That retreat can feel like whiplash, and it often leaves you wondering if any of it was real. Their effort wasn't fake. It just collided with their internal fear of closeness, which made them step back once things started to feel too emotionally intense. And stick around, because in the next segment, we'll uncover one of the most misunderstood ways avoidants express love. Something people constantly misread as indifference, when it's actually something much deeper. 4. There are moments when an avoidant, despite every instinct to stay guarded, accidentally lets something real slip out. It's not planned, it's not smooth, it's usually subtle, maybe even mumbled under their breath. But if you're paying attention, you'll hear it. A sentence, a phrase, a moment of unscripted truth, something like, "I don't usually feel this way about people," or "You're different from anyone I've met." It might come off awkward or even rushed, as if they regret saying it the second the words leave their mouth. But here's the thing. That unfiltered admission, that's huge. That's a crack in the emotional armor. Avoidants don't throw words around lightly. They're not the type to romanticize things just to make you feel good. In fact, expressing deep emotion can feel almost physically uncomfortable for them. So when something heartfelt escapes their lips, when they confess something meaningful, raw, and vulnerable, it's not manipulation. It's not a line. It's a moment of honesty that likely surprised them as much as it surprised you, and that's how you know it's real. These slips don't happen often. That's what makes them so important. They're not calculated. They don't come dressed up in poetic language. Sometimes they don't even make perfect sense. But emotionally, they land. Because in that split second, you're seeing something they usually keep hidden: the depth of their attachment, their internal struggle, and their silent desire to connect, even when fear tells them to run. And that's where most people miss the significance. They brush off these moments or second-guess them, especially when the avoidant partner later withdraws again. But the withdrawal doesn't cancel the truth of what was said. It just means the intensity spooked them. 5. With avoidantly attached people, generosity looks different. It's not loud or performative. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic shows of affection. It's quieter than that, more subtle. If they begin to share what's theirs, their time, their resources, their connections, even financial support, it's not just kindness. It's symbolic. For someone who protects their independence with such intensity, giving in this way means you've crossed a significant threshold. You're no longer just someone they're interested in. You've become someone they're invested in. Avoidants don't part with their personal world easily. They're territorial with their space, selective with their time, and protective of what they've built. So when they include you in that world, when they offer help without being asked, when they step in to make your life easier, or when they extend support that costs them something, that's no small thing. That's not transactional. That's not about leverage or control. Unlike narcissistic types who give to get, an avoidance version of giving is more sacred. They don't do it to impress. They do it because something about you has earned their quiet loyalty. It's a silent vow. You're in my circle now. I've got you. And it's easy to miss because it's not framed with flowery words or showy intent, but it's there. In the way they solve problems for you without needing praise. In the way they share resources that they usually keep guarded. It's not loud love, it's protective love. It's alliance. It's I'm standing with you, even if they don't always say the words out loud. And why does this matter so much? Because when you're left in the aftermath of a connection like this, when things are confusing, or when you're trying to make sense of a relationship that ended without closure, it's these small, consistent actions that help clarify the truth. People might tell you, let it go. Who cares? It's over. But that's not how healing works. Closure isn't about pretending the connection meant nothing. It's about recognizing the realness of it, even if it came in a form that was hard to read. If someone avoidant shared part of their inner life with you, if they offered their support in ways they don't offer to just anyone, it wasn't nothing. It may not have looked like the love you were hoping for, but in their world, it meant something. And knowing that doesn't mean clinging, it means honoring what was real. It gives you a clear place to stand, not in fantasy, not in confusion, but in truth. That truth gives you the power to move forward with dignity, clarity, and peace. At the end of the day, love from someone with an avoidant attachment style may not look like the fairy tale you pictured. But that doesn't mean it's not real. It just means it's coded differently. Their feelings often show up in action, in hesitation, in silence, and in moments of unexpected vulnerability. When they choose to share their time, open up their past, step into your life in quiet, practical ways, those are not small things. They're signals. And whether you're still in the relationship or just trying to understand what it meant, learning to read these signs gives you back your clarity, your power, and your peace. Because even if it ended, it matters to know it wasn't all in your head. It mattered to them too, even if they couldn't say it. Thank you so much for watching this video and for taking the time to explore this with me. Your emotional clarity matters, your experiences matter, and you deserve connection that feels mutual, safe, and seen. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these signs you've experienced and how it felt. Your story could help someone else feel less alone. And if you want more honest, grounded insight into love, attachment, and healing, hit that subscribe button and join a community that's committed to emotional growth, not just quick fixes. Until next time, take care of your heart. It's telling you more than you think.